Good afternoon. It's that time again. We are back. It is me, Matt, and Helen from Success School. Let us know who is joining us today. Who is here? How has your week gone? How is your Friday going? Are we feeling good, positive, motivated? Have we attacked the week? Are we achieving our goals? Or are we feeling pretty shit? Let us know. Let us know. How are you feeling, Helen?
Really good. It's beautiful here today. It's so sunny.
Yeah, it is. It's sunny here as well, which is nice. It's making a change because I think we're having a pretty crap summer weather-wise overall. So guys, get in the comments, engage with us. Thank you everybody, absolutely everyone that has been jumping on these lives, that's been getting involved, that's been sharing them, that's been giving feedback. We really, really appreciate you. But do give us a bit of a heads up who's here today. Let us know who is in the house and let us know how are you feeling? How is your week going? It's been a really busy week for us. There's a lot happening. We've got the event we've prepared. Stick your teeth in, Matt. Preparing for in February, which is really, really exciting. We've also got a new. Anybody done my 5-day or 3-day life enhancer challenges before? Completely free. We do them online. We've done them for many, many years. I told everybody in January it's the final time we're doing them in the way we've been doing them. But we are going to be doing, I could officially, exclusively announce right now, we're going to be doing another one in September, but not like you know it. It's going to be slightly different. There's going to be some changes, some upgrades to make it even better, even more impactful. And let's just say I won't be on my own on this one. There you go. There's a little spoiler alert. So we've got that coming on. There's something incredible that Dimple and I, relationship expert Dimple, is going to be announcing. So we're working on that. I've got loads of one-to-one clients at the moment, Helen. Loads of people wanting to work with me one-to-one, which is incredible because I know that's how I can help people the most. Yeah. You know, when we've really getting in there one-to-one, that kind of more bespoke coaching. So that's amazing, but keeping us really, really busy. And just lots happening in business. I'm going to start as well, guys. Like, bear with me with this because I'm really passionate about this. I'm going to start with a little bit of a rant. And I'm just going to say this to everybody. Like, I'm not saying that this applies to absolutely everybody, but I'm saying it applies to absolutely everybody. It's kind of a joke, but it does at times. And as somebody running different companies and I've got, you know, amazing teams around me, we encounter the same kind of sloppy problems from dealing with human beings. So I just want to start this video by putting this out there to get everyone to reflect on that. Like, what is the standard you hold yourself to in the way you're conducting yourself in life right now? I'm talking about the absolute basics. Like, how are you showing up in the world? I'm just seeing things like there's a lot of people that their timekeeping's poor. Their general attitude and energy is lackluster. I'm seeing people wanting something for nothing, that are entitled. This kind of like poor me mentality. People missing payments, having excuses. People trying to tear other people down so that they look better than they actually are. And I just want to say, like, as we're on this live now, we've got people listening, like every human being, and generally, I know I am talking to the converted, generally, because people who tune into this kind of stuff care about being great human beings. But nonetheless, this is still something I'm encountering day in, day out. Like, really consider, what is the standard you hold yourself to? Do you cut corners? You know, can you be a bit lackluster and a bit going through the motions? Do you have this attitude of like, oh, poor me, you know, and your timekeeping's not great and all these kind of things? I just want to say, guys, anybody watching, anybody out there, let's start to have higher standards in how we show up in the world, how we communicate with others, help and serve others better. I'm seeing it regular in business. People just being a little bit shitty and just, oh, so, well, that was your fault. No, it wasn't. You know, it wasn't. You know, I'm not going to disclose anything, but there's been, you know, how like just sometimes you just see similar patterns and you think, guys, be better. Just be better. So yeah, I think that's something we should all reflect on. Today, we're going to be talking about the 5 biggest mistakes you're making right now. And what I'm talking about here is if you feel a little bit like you are just not where you want to be in life, if you consistently find that you set those goals in January, like, this is going to be my year, this is what I'm going to achieve, blah, 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 blah. And actually, when you reflect, you're like, I'm just not there. I'm kind of made a bit of progress, but not enough progress. If any of that applies to you, whether that be within your own confidence and self-worth, whether it be your relationships, whether it be your health, your fitness goals, whether it be financial goals and money you want in the bank, whether it be career goals, whether it be business goals, there's common themes in what keeps people stuck and what holds people back. So we're going to cover 5 today. As an actual fact, I could do about 65, but I'm trying to, from working with people one-to-one and my own experiences combined, I'm trying to go to what are 5 of the biggest things I see that are really, really, really common. So just to start with, first and foremost, let me know, anybody in the comments, how is everybody doing? Has anyone got any questions? Please do use this opportunity, because I think the question and answer side can be really, really useful. That's where, we can give the most value, rather than just me giving the generalized 5 steps. If there's anything specific for you that you're struggling with, please do. If you're happy to, feel free to drop it in the comments, and we'll do some live answers and things like that. Jimmy questions. Hey Jimmy, how are you? I hope you're well. Sometimes the strict standards can lead to gaining nothing but self-love, respect, environment specific. I don't fully understand what that comment says, so maybe just if you could please have a higher standard of how you write and make it make sense to me. I'm only kidding. It might be me not reading it right, but it says some things the strict standards can lead to gaining nothing but self-love, respect. Self-love, respect. There's no comment there. I don't know if it's self-love, respect. And then it says environment specific. Is that me just reading it wrong?
I think I know what it means, in the sense of like having higher standards for yourself leads to more self-love, leads to more self. Like, I think that's the context of what he's saying.
Oh, gaining nothing.
Yes.
Specifically. I get that. But I mean, I would say it's also, and I do get that if that's what's being said there, Jimmy, but I also think that you can't not gain something as well. Like, just when you're being a better human being, when you're being better to other people, when you're helping others, when you're the sort of person people can rely on, can trust, that sticks to their word, to some, you're going to get something back. There's going to be more opportunities. We had it yesterday, didn't we? I was like, oh my God, I've not even pushed for this. I had an amazing phone call with an incredible opportunity, something that I'm going to be doing in January, and I cannot wait. I'm so excited. I'm like, that's because she's just been watching my stuff, seeing what I'm about, seeing me show up consistently, and bang, an opportunity I wasn't looking for has come to my door. So, I do agree with the sentiment there that, yeah, the biggest thing you get from it is just your own self-worth and self-respect. You're like, thanks, Helen. I can tell you're the writer, and I'm clearly not. You get it. It made sense to you. And thanks, Jimmy, as well, for commenting. And sorry for me having no idea. Sorry, Helen, was you going to say something?
That's why he has me.
That's why I have it's definitely not the only reason. There's bloody loads of reasons that Ellen's here.
Yeah, it's definitely a pride thing, isn't it? It's like, that your standards are high, and that you're showing up in the right way, and that's enough. That's enough. We've also, Jimmy has actually commented saying, I'm in the car in the sun in London. So that's probably why he's not typed it the best if he's in the car. Probably at traffic lights like this, typing dead quick.
What, is Jimmy over on Facebook as well?
He's commented on YouTube, I think, looking by the logo.
Oh, mate, we've gone viral. We'll be on BBC News next. We're on that many places. Love it.
And then Mark has also commented and said, is that me at the start? Should I leave? And a laughing face.
Mark, absolutely not. No.
Not you.
Absolutely not you. Your standards are incredible, and I absolutely love your attitude. I love your consistency. I love how deep Mark is in terms of self-reflection and really looking at how can he be an even better human being than he already is. So 1000%, no, it is not you. But anybody right now, if you just want to think about what's the areas right now where you feel you are not achieving as much as you want to achieve, where you just feel like you're a little bit stuck, had certain goals that just keep coming back round and you think, I've still not achieved them. Have a think about that. And if anyone is, again, happy to share, please do put it in the comments. But these are, generally speaking, obviously, there's going to be nuance to what I say, and there's going to be certain things where it's like doesn't fully apply, but generally speaking, these 5 things are going to apply to most goals. And even if all 5 are not the reason you're stuck and you're not making progress, at least 1 or 2 of them absolutely will. I can almost guarantee you. So let's dive into these 5 biggest mistakes that you people are making. And obviously by you people, I just mean us people. Like they're common. We're human. None of us are perfect. But I always say self-development comes from self-awareness. So the idea of these videos is to help you bring the awareness to what is that bottleneck? What is that thing that's holding you back? So here's number 1. And I honestly think I've thought a lot about this recently. This really is one of the biggest things that holds so many people back. I coach it a lot. I see it a lot. But also Paul Mort, who was on this week's podcast episode, said exactly the same thing, and he articulated it brilliantly. But the biggest mistake that most people are making a lot of the time is they value certainty way too much. Right. And I think if you now think about your goal and why you're not achieving, maybe this might be the one for you where you go, that's what it is. They value certainty. They value familiarity. They value doing what comes easy, comfort zone stuff. They value needing to know this is absolutely the right goal. I know every single step. I know the 50-year plan. I know it's not going to fail. I know it's going to work. I know I'm not going to look silly. Like they need certainty way too high. And something that Tony Robbins speaks about is the 6 human needs, the needs that drive behavior. And those 6 human needs are certainty, variety, significance, love and connection, growth and contribution. They're the 6 human needs that drives our actions. Everything we do on some level is meeting one or more of those needs. And obviously we all have a different hierarchy of needs, and that hierarchy of needs can change at different times. Like certain times in your life, certainty might be high. Other times, love might be high. Other times, variety might be highest. That hierarchy can change. But one of the things that Tony speaks about is if you value high up on your list certainty, that can be a real problem because you're valuing certainty in an uncertain world, right? Nothing's certain apart from death and taxes. That's what they say, right? But it's true. You can't have certainty. None of us have got a crystal ball. None of us can project into the future. So by valuing certainty too high, what you're often going to do is just simply hold yourself back, keep yourself still, keep yourself stuck. So really start to dig deep on that. Where are you going? Oh, no, I can't do that. Oh, why am I? Because of this need for certainty. It shows up all over for people. And one of the things that I've mentioned many times, and we spoke about it on stage in Leeds, but I think it's such a great thing to remember, is that bit in Stephen Bartlett's book, in Happy Sexy Millionaire, his first book, where he speaks about, he was standing, talking on stage. One of the other speakers was Barack Obama. He got a few minutes to sort of chat with Barack Obama, I believe backstage or something like that. And he had the opportunity to ask him a question. And he said, you know, when you are running a country, when you are president of America, how on earth can you make decisions? Because every decision you make is vital, is important, has huge consequences. He was like, you know, when you're running a country, you don't deal with easy questions and easy problems and easy decisions. Like you've got a team and teams below that team and teams below that team that deal with the easy stuff. As president, you are just all day, every day dealing with the hard shit, the decisions of whether to go to war or not, decisions on where to invest money into healthcare, you know, huge, huge decisions. How can you possibly live like that and keep making decisions? And what Barack Obama said, again, I'm paraphrasing, it's not word for word, but the sentiment of what he said was the main reason people struggle with decisions is they need to feel like 100% certain it's the right decision. When you're running a country, you do not have that luxury. You cannot consistently be 100% certain. And if you were, you would never, like if you was needing that, you would never make a decision. So the approach that he took was based on the evidence, the information presented in that given moment. Can you just get to a 51% certainty that the decision you make is the best possible decision available to you in that moment? Just 51%, not 70, 80% certain, not I'm 100% certain this is going to work, just 51% based on the options presented. And then obviously the trick with that, it's not about being reckless or careless. The trick is to act fast. make the decision, act on the decision, and then learn as you go, pivot, adapt, change quickly as, when, if you need to change. And that's the thing that's going to keep you growing. I think one of the things that I said about, it could have been an extra one, which I guess really kind of works with this first point, really, is people don't appreciate failure. They fear failure. They're scared to look of failure. They're scared people are going to call them a failure instead of appreciating how valuable failure is. I spoke at a university recently at an awards night that I'd been booked to speak at, and I used a video of Ed Sheeran talking about, he was like, nobody talks enough about failure. He was like success, you learn nothing from success. There's no teaching in success. He says everything that made me successful came from the learnings from failure. So if we can just remove this need for certainty that it's going to be right, that it's going to be perfect, that it's the perfect decision, and actually embrace failure is how we learn. Taking action and reflecting on action is how you learn. You can stop needing certainty to be so important. Anything you want to add on that, Helen?
Yeah, one of the big ones for me to have to recognize as I've gone down this road is like, we keep picking a familiar hell over an unfamiliar heaven, because at least you know the certainty of that. And it's a massive mistake. Obviously, even just saying it is ridiculous, but we are all stuck in that loop, or most of us are stuck in that loop of, well, this isn't the best. This isn't great. It's not where I want to be, and I'm not very happy, but at least I know. At least I'm safe in knowing that this is the reality of this. And another one for me has always been a fear of success, which sounds ridiculous. But actually, again, it's the unfamiliarity of, well, what will that mean? Well, what will my life look like then? Well, what can I cope with that? Can I deal with that? That has been huge. And if you remember at the event, I actually asked Lisa Johnson about that in the Q&A, because she was telling her story about, where she'd come from, the massive levels of success that she'd had. And I said to her, was there a point where that success started to happen and you were scared? And she was like, yeah. Like, of course, like everybody's, I think she said, yeah, did she?
I can't remember now. It was a long day, Helen.
I feel like she
I'll
did.
have to watch the video back.
She moved through it. I might be wrong there, actually.
Yeah, I can't remember. I do remember you asking the question, though.
I remember asking the question. Yeah. Remember it. She definitely understood where it was coming from with that point, anyway.
Yeah. There's so much to say on this subject, and I just really encourage people to think about it. What is there to fear, really? Life's going to pass by anyway. And when you can really shift your perspective on that and go, do you know what? I don't need all the answers. I don't need all the certainty. I just need to know that I am fulfilled in my decisions, that I've given it my best shot, that I showed up as the best version of myself as often as possible, that I had great intentions, that I didn't, wait for an opportunity. I went out and made opportunities, that's the shit you'll never regret. Even if it doesn't work, there are so many things I can reflect on in my life, job opportunities, auditioning for the X Factor, previous relationships, going on Love Triangle. There's so many things I can reflect on in my life that failed or didn't work out or whatever. And I always just think I have zero regret for giving it a go. I would much rather know that the X Factor was a shit experience than wonder, could I have been good on the X Factor? Maybe I missed maybe I would have. No, I wouldn't. I know I tried. It were awful. There's no regret in that. There's oh, good. I went and I stood on Wembley Stadium and I sang to Simon Cowell and Cheryl Cole and whoever else, Rita Ora, and I gave it a shot and it didn't work. And I saw that it was very edited TV and blah, blah, blah. That is such a better thing to have had that rejection in Wembley Stadium than going, oh, maybe I should have given it a go when I was 20 because I'm too old now and it won't work or whatever So remove the need for certainty and recognize there's no regret in giving shit a go.
No. And also that massive fear of success I've realized over the years is probably just don't worry about that until it actually happens, because actually getting to that level of success, it's not going to happen overnight. You'll have time to adapt if it does.
100%. It's the same with anything. you do adapt. Human beings are brilliant at adapting, but we're so scared. We're so scared to adapt. But I've always said this, when your back's against a wall and you have to fight and you have to adapt and you have to change, we all can do it. But why wait until your back's against a wall? But you're absolutely right. It's this idea of people would rather be in like the discomfort of comfort. And it's this idea that people wait till the pain is so bad till they change, but actually you're already in pain. You know, if your bank balance is shit, if your relationships are average, if you don't really enjoy your job, you know, whatever it may be for you, why are you just accepting that? Because the pain of change is so scary and the unknown is so scary. Well, what's the alternative? Because right now doesn't look great. You know, you're just settling. You know, I can't remember. Again, I've seen Stephen Bartlett speak live a couple of times, and I had the pleasure of like having a chat with him and meeting him. And one of the things I remember him saying the first time I saw him on stage at like a business conference is this idea of people saying how brave he was to quit university. And his mum said, if you quit uni, I will never speak to you. And I think it was something like a year she didn't speak to him because he was like, I'm not doing this. I'm starting my own business at like 18 or something like that. And people go, wow, you are so brave. Like that must have taken real courage to. And he was like, I think everyone else is brave for having the courage to keep doing shit they don't enjoy. Yeah. He's like, that's bravery. That's courage to just keep doing stuff you're not happy and stay in relationships where you're not happy. He's like, that's not. He said, if we can all agree the North Star, as he called it, like this, the outcome that we all want is true happiness, then surely settling at something that doesn't make you fully happy, that takes courage.
Yeah.
You know, and I just thought it was a really great way to kind of reframe it and look at it a little bit differently. Any comments coming in before we move on to the next one? I can see Carol's here, and that's a biggie for you today. Yeah, absolutely amazing, Carol, to see you here. J-Bomb is here. Yeah, saying it makes sense. And Helen Short is here. Amazing, sending love there. And J-Bomb says, I think she did, Helen. That's about Lisa Johnson there.
Yeah, I'm sure she definitely knew where it was coming from anyway. She was definitely like, she understood why I would feel that way. Comments I've got here is Mark has said, fear of success is absolutely an issue for me. That's exactly why I brought it up, because I think it's a massive issue for a lot of people.
100%. Yeah, brilliant. Thanks for being here, guys. Again, just a reminder, get some questions in. Let's use this time where we can engage. We're here, we're live, we're real people. Talk to us, please do. All right, kind of moving on from that. The first point is this idea of valuing certainty too much, which is a massive thing that messes people up in all different kind of ways. The second one is you fear judgment / want to impress others. Right? And I see this day in, day out, when you actually get to the crux of why, when I'm working with people one-to-one and why they're not getting the achievements they want, it's because they're holding themselves back. Why are they holding themselves back? Well, one of the reasons is they're scared of what people are going to say. Or they're scared of, oh, but other people that I love and that are around me won't like it, so I best just keep them happy and please them. Or also, people start doing stupid shit, like putting a fake version of them out there, like this version as if everything's amazing when it's not amazing, just because they're living to impress everybody else. So I think this is a really big one. Everybody watching this to seriously reflect on, like, how much are you living based on other people's viewpoints or what you think is other people's perception? Because the quote that Jay Shetty speaks about, which I think is so true, he says, you are not what you think you are. You are not what other people think you are. You are what you think other people think you are. Like, take a moment to really reflect on that, because I think that's it's so true. And when you become aware of it, you go, shit, why am I doing that? Like, you are what you think other people think you are, right? So you make decisions, you get into relationships, you take job opportunities, you start a business or don't start a business based on what you think other people are going to think about it, what you think other people are going to say about it. I mean, that is mental. And I've just been thinking a lot. I know this is super morbid, And I don't know if it's Lisa Johnson at Leeds might have been a bit of a catalyst about this idea that the average life expectancy is just below 80. And if we do live an average life, it's kind of 4,000 weeks is all we get. And I'm just here right now doing this, and I'm thinking it's frigging Friday again.
Mhm.
It's freaking Friday again. Like, we've done another week again. Like, what? How has this week gone? And I still haven't got half done what I expected to do, then wanted to do. I'm like, I've run out of time again. And I just keep thinking, geez, like, life is so short as it is. When are you going to stop wasting it? Not going after what you want to do, not asking that person out on a date, not asking for that pay rise, not starting that business. Like, because of what you think other people might think. Oh, I'm scared to ask. What if they reject me? Fuck, what if they do? What is it? 8 billion people in the world. There's loads of others that will accept you. Go and find them. Like, it's when you actually really break it down, it is so sad that we place so much value on other people's opinions in the nicest way possible. Fuck them. Fuck them, please. Probably going to get shadow banned for swearing too much. Probably YouTube's just blown up or something. I don't care. Like, people need to hear this, please. If you need to hear this today, take it and fucking go and make that decision. Ask for that pay rise. Ask that person out on a date. Whatever it is, rejection is just redirection. Now I know you said no. I don't need to think about it anymore or waste another second of these, if we're lucky, 4,000 weeks that we've got. Absolutely huge. Stop wanting to impress everybody else. Stop trying to please everybody else. Stop caring what everybody else's judgment is, and start to do more of what you truly want to do in this life. Yeah. Go for it. Take the action. It's so important. Anything you want to add on this, Helen, before I just spontaneously combust with anger?
Do you know, I think there's a really good example of this that a lot of people will be able to relate to, actually. And I always say this to one of my friends. I get hit on 10 times more when I'm in a relationship. And do you know why that is? Because I'm not trying to impress anybody. 110%. When I'm single and I'm out and I'm about and I'm like, care about everything, care about what people think of me, care about all the rest of it, people don't respond right to me. Now I'm married all the time. All the time. And
See, I hope you're listening, mate. You best up your game. You best up your game.
But it's true, because you're giving off a different energy. You're giving off, like, I put the real me forward now because I don't care. I'm not on the market. I'm not looking. I don't care. So I just come across as me, and I'll stand there and I'll talk to somebody, and I will be 100% me. And when I'm 100% me, people like me. When I'm putting on a front and trying to be perfect, people don't. There you go.
Boom. Boom. And what I will say, and we covered this when I had relationship expert Dimple on the live the other night, when you meet that right person and you've not got into that relationship or started dating that person from a place of pretense or fakery, and you suddenly go, oh, like, for me, what would it be for me? I'm sometimes a bit silly. I sometimes say silly stuff. I'm a bit daft. I'm sometimes a bit camp. And it's like, oh, I was just a bit silly, daft, or camp or whatever, and she's accepting me for it. Yeah. I'm like, oh shit, like, I can just be 100% myself and be accepted for it. So the other thing to add to that is, like, when you find the right people that align with the true, authentic version of yourself, you don't need to put on an act. You don't need to pretend. And I posted something, was it Matthew McConaughey or something like that? I posted something on my story yesterday, and he was saying something to the idea of, I would rather be hated for who I am than loved for who I'm not. Right? So this is the idea of just...
Matt, I'm really, really sorry. I've locked Steve out and he's banging on the door. Just bear with me. Let me just go and let him in.
Listen, keep him waiting. He won't be the only one knocking at the door from what I've heard. Yeah, go let him in. Go let him in. I love it. I love it. Go. I'll just mute you as well, Helen, so I don't hear him shouting at you. One sec. Oh, wait. Is it that one? Yeah. There we go. But yeah, guys, I just think it's such... I just saw it yesterday. I'm like, I'm going to repost that. I would rather be hated for who I am than loved for who I'm not. Life's too short to put on an act just because you want validation and you are scared of judgment and you want everybody to agree with you, like and love you. Just be you. Seriously, it's that simple. I know it's not. I know it's complex, but the only thing that makes it complex is your mindset. Just own who you are. Be who you are. I think I've unmuted you, Helen. Are you there?
Sorry.
Is he all right? Cool. All right. So, guys, let me know some feedback. Is this sinking in? Is this helpful? Is this you? Do you need this today? Do you need to make sure you make these changes? Let us know in the comments. So, as I say, we're doing 5 here. The first one is you value certainty too much. And valuing certainty in an uncertain world is only going to mess you up and keep you still. The second one is you're too busy trying to impress other people, please other people, and scared and fearing judgment and worried what people think about you. Is there any comments or anything there on Facebook or anything you want to add, Helen, before we move on?
So let's have a look. Lynn's just saying, I agree. So, yeah. But yeah, I think, oh, hang on, she just commented again. I'm definitely being me. And funny thing is, right, people like me. Exactly, Lynn. Like when Lynn let her real self out at the event.
Yeah, do you want to tell people that? Because I had me in stitches watching you and her on that hotel.
So Lynn is always like, I'm sure I'm not speaking out of her name and she won't mind me sharing it because she put it in the comments, but she does fear judgment and she does kind of, and you know, the career that she has and the job that she does, she puts on these really high-end events and she's absolutely amazing. And obviously with that comes a certain image and stuff. But at the event, she was like asking me for advice basically and saying like, how do you do what you do? How do you come across so just normal and not care what people think? So I was giving her some advice. And then when we were going up to bed, because we were in the hotel, me and Lynn were on the top floor and everybody else was like on lower floors. So we were winding them up saying like, oh, we're on the penthouse, you're all povos, because Shabazz had been at the event. And obviously that's his saying, isn't it, povo? So we were winding them up. So I was like, come on, let's do an Instagram story. So we posted a story to my Instagram, laughing our heads off. And she just completely let her hair down. And it was so good to see. Yeah, so good to see.
And it was funny. She's like, you povos. It was funny. And I think, don't we need more of that on social media? Just people being real. Like, because as soon as you see that, you go, I relate to that, or it makes me laugh. And it was one thing I think, and probably part of the catalyst, I assume, for that day was, again, Lisa Johnson speaking about when she showed the other side to her. She used to do something called Wine Down Friday, which is on a Friday night. She'd have a glass of wine and she'd talk about business that week, the highs, the lows, the good, the bad, the funny stories. And just that personable, real side of her is what people really latched onto and what people love. Equally, some people also gave a hate for it. Like, this isn't professional, having wine as a business coach. How very dare you? And she's like, you're more like, I think she said, you know, it's not an airport. You don't need to announce your departure. Just leave. Just go if I'm not for you. And I think there is such strength in just being okay with not needing everybody to like you and love you, and instead just being authentic and attracting the right people into your life. You know, give people a choice. Give people a choice to make a decision about the real you and be okay with that.
Yeah, and going back to what you were saying earlier about your relationship and like when you can be goofy and you can be daft and you're like, oh, you still like me even though I'm being like this. What does that do for your confidence, which is what we were talking about yesterday? Because sometimes when you're not being yourself and you're surrounded by people, you're like, if they knew the real me, they wouldn't like me.
I've done it.
Yeah, when you're being authentically you and people still accept you for being you, flaws and all, that really does fix your confidence and really does help.
It's huge. And it's one of them, I can't kind of emphasize it enough. Like, I really hope people take that on board. Like, I said it before and I'll say it again, just fuck them. Yeah. Like, fuck those people that laugh at you or don't agree with you. Like, fuck them, because there's loads of people who will agree with you. There's loads of people who will love you for you. And usually the people who don't, if you're being your true self and they're criticizing or being negative, it's just an insecurity within them. You know, anyway, I could talk about that all day. Let's go on to point number 3. The third point is you spend too much time focusing on the negatives and not enough on the positives. Now, we did a live coaching session for our members Tuesday night, and the phrase that I said is, the story is the glue that will keep you stuck. And what I meant by that is we all have these stories we tell ourselves In other words, the bits that we focus on or the way that we perceive experiences. We also have this thing called negativity bias, which, you know, it's got good intentions, negativity bias. And you've got to remember your brain in general, its sole purpose is not to make you happy, it's to keep you alive. So the negativity bias that we have is we're hardwired, and, you know, our animalistic instinct is to always be on the lookout for the negatives, because that's what kept us alive for all these years, like the human race. But it's not useful 99% of the time to constantly be looking at the negatives, focusing on the negatives, finding the negatives. And this is, again, something that I think is huge that most people are not aware they're doing. They're constantly putting other people down, constantly judging others, constantly judging themselves, constantly looking at what they don't have, constantly looking at what they haven't done. They're constantly looking at what I'm not good at, when there's equally available all the stuff that's right, all the stuff that's great, all the stuff that's amazing. Think about that right now, guys. How much are you doing that? How often are you praising yourself? How often are you saying, friggin' proud of myself? How often are you saying all the things you're grateful for, you're lucky to have, instead of all the things you don't have and all the things you want but you've not got yet? Anything you want to add on that, Helen?
Yeah, like journaling really helps with that. That's something I do all the time now. I'm massive on
Do
it.
the sales pitch. Show them the journal. Have you got yours there?
Oh, of course I've got it here. Of course.
I love it.
It never leaves my side. So we have a success skill journal, which does journaling, but it also does your daily tracking as well. So you can set a schedule and then put all these tasks in and mark them off, which is really helpful. But the journaling side of it is really helpful too, because it makes you, what we keep talking about with self-awareness and recognizing these things that you need to work on, you need to change, but also recognizing, you know, today I am grateful for, and actually acknowledging it rather than just allowing those things. And so many of us have got so much to be grateful for, and it's about learning to actually acknowledge them. If you want one of these, by the way, the link is in Matt's bio, but I can post it in the chat too on Facebook. So,
and I'm like, that journal is something I've put a lot of time into, because I was like, I don't want it to be just be another journal. I want it to have the scheduling, the planning. It also has the weekly. I love that visual of like the weekly checklist as well. You also have the end of week reflection section every 7 days. It's a 12-week one, that one that Helen's got there, and it's high quality, high end, good material. You know, it is of the higher end, but it's got everything that I do and that I believe in to help you as well. So if you do want one of them, do check it out. Link in my bio now. Are you just looking for the habit tracker?
For the habit tracker. Carry on talking. Oh, and also you get loads and loads of quotes in there as well, which is really good because they pick you up and make you just think a bit different, provoke thought, which is always good.
Yeah, 100%. Okay, guys, so that's number 3, is just be aware of how much you're focusing on the downsides, the negatives, what you haven't got. Yeah, that's the habit tracker there. So you can see like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. You just write down on the side there, there's a space to say, what are the habits you want to be doing consistently? Is it, you know, going for a walk? Is it going to the gym? Is it eating a certain way? Is it a certain amount of hours sleep? Is it posting on social media for your business? Is it cold water therapy? Like, what are the habits? You write them down, and then it's just a nice visual to take. Yes, did that on Monday. I missed that on Monday. Need to make sure I make it up for the rest of the week. I just find like visuals like that can be really motivating and useful like that as well. All right, so the fourth one is the fourth mistake that most people are making that is keeping them stuck and they're not getting the progress they want, is you're not taking enough of the smaller actions. So what people do, and I've been really guilty of this a lot in the past, is it's this all out versus all in mentality. They go and blast everything for like a couple of days and then burn out and do very little for a couple of weeks. And I think it's just not overlooking the importance of the small, consistent habits and the kind of compound effect of that over time. A lot of people, and this is when I'm working with clients, I'm just seeing that they've been start, stop. Some clients that were working with me quite intensely, say like a year ago, 2 years ago, and then they've gone off and done their own thing, and then they've booked in and said, I want to work with you again. And in the time, you know, in the year that we stopped working, I'm like, you had the blueprint. If you'd have just remained consistent and kept it sustainable, where would you have been? Because we built some incredible foundations. Where would you have been a year from now if you'd have just stayed? And it's like, I know. But then I just started thinking, oh, is this really for me? Do I really want it? And now I'm thinking, yeah, I do want it. And I'm like, psych. So it's this removing this all in versus all out mentality and just remaining consistent. But I think a big mistake for people is they really struggle with consistency. They're not taking enough action in general. There's doing a lot of talking about talking, planning, thinking about thinking, speaking about it with other people, getting 10 different opinions about it. There's a lot of that, a lot of procrastination, a lot of reading books, a lot of listening to podcasts, but just nowhere near enough action in general, right? But in particular, the small, seemingly insignificant things that compound over time. There's a great book that I recommend called The Slight Edge. And this really hammers home this principle of the small things done consistently are the things that make the big things happen. So it's a massive one to reflect on. I could just see there, Carol's put, I adore my journal. I have been using it for months now. I am coming to the end of my third one. I do have a fourth ready to go when this ends, reflecting on my goals at the end of each I think that's week, is it? I see how far I've come. Absolutely amazing, Carol. And I can vouch for her that she has been so consistent with journaling and that gratitude, you know, and I do think it's played a massive part in, you know, anyone that knows Carol and her story, just how far she's come. Anything you want to add there, Helen, or any comments, questions?
Some comments. So Lynn has said she loves her journal too. I think everybody that's got them's really, really benefited from it, haven't they? Everybody's just like loving it. Mark's just come back because he had to go. He said, "What number are we on?" You 4?
We've just done 4, yeah.
Done 4. There you go. We're on 4. Stick around. The best is yet to come.
Yeah. All right, guys. Thanks again for being here. Just a quick reminder, if you just joined us, like, please do, by all means, stick questions in the comment box. More than happy to answer any questions. Also, if you want to just share things, feel free to share. Do engage with us. We do appreciate any engagement. It keeps it worthwhile doing it live. Otherwise, we can just do a pre-recorded video or a podcast. All right, the 5th one. And then we have just got like a bit of an extra something that I think as well, because I was like, we'd planned it as 5, and then I was like, but there's so many other things as well. So we kind of got some extra things I think are important to consider. But the 5th one, and I really don't think people put enough value on this. And I think they all tie into each other. I think part of it is because of pride and wanting to people please and wanting to look better than things are going because we worry about judgment. But I think the 5th one is the mistake people are making is they are just not getting enough help. And they are just not surrounded by the right people often enough that are actually going to help them get to where they need to go. And I think it's been clear in everything I do. And obviously part of the reason why I've built the community of Success School and the membership is because of how much I believe in this. But actually what I would say is as the years go by, it's kind of reinforcing even more the power of it. It's not something like oh, maybe we over-egged the ask for help and get around communities and network and go to events. Maybe we've over-egged that a bit and got a bit carried. I'm like, no, I'm keep seeing time and time again. And I was speaking with Gavin on the live last night about, I think one of his real strengths is even when there's no personal gain for him, he's really great at going, oh, I'm going to connect you with that person because I think you could help each other. And, you know, there's an opportunity there. Like the more that I'm on this kind of journey, whatever you want to call it, the more I'm really recognizing and appreciating how powerful connections with the right people are, asking for help, delegating, outsourcing, networking, building strong, solid relationships, community. Like it is huge if you can afford coaching, mentorship, personal trainers, therapists, counselors. If you can go to networking events, join communities like our Success School, and like if you are truly serious once and for all about genuinely achieving your bloody goals, really question how much are you exposed to the people that can help you get there on a daily basis? How often is it? You know, with us at Success School, we have a WhatsApp group where there's consistently throughout the week messages and accountability and check-ins. There's a Facebook group where daily people are putting things in there, opportunities, questions, ways that people can connect. Every single week we do a live Zoom call. Obviously every year now we're doing live events in person. How often are you plugged into that kind of stuff? And I also say when you join the membership, like you only get out what you put in. Unless you show up and utilize it, it's not going to be useful to you. But I cannot stress this enough. And that isn't just me doing a sales pitch. Like the reason Success School is the way it is based on what works, right? And whether you join us or not, if you're serious about being consistent, if you're serious about achieving your goals, if you're serious about success, and I mean really serious about it, not just, oh yeah, I wish I had a bit more money. If you want more money, oh yeah, I wish I could lose a bit of fat. If you want to lose that bloody fat, how often are you exposed to the people who can help you do it? The support, the accountability, the motivation, the encouragement, and the knowledge, the information. You need to be around it. As human beings, we are influenced by our environment massively. All of us, doesn't matter how much self-development you do, you will be influenced by the environment, by other people's beliefs and values, by social media, by the news, by the TV that you watch, by the books that you read. You are influenced by everything external. So is it right? Is it going to keep you motivated, inspired, educated, informed, accountable? The people, the environment that you're exposed to. And if not, this is huge. And this is the mistake I see people making time and time again. They try and do it alone. The ego gets in the way. I'm not paying for help. The ego gets in the way. I don't want to look weak and ask for help. Ego, ego, ego. I'll come back to what I shared the other week at the event again about Jesson James. He said when he came on the podcast, I think it was like episode 70 or something like that. I can't remember now. Jesson James being a multiple award-winning speaker, author, entrepreneur, multimillionaire, and a nice guy. It's worth saying as well. And the first question I asked him naively now on reflection a couple of years ago, I said, Jesson, you're a self-made millionaire. And I was like, you've done it. You've done what most people aspire to do. You've already done it. As I speak to you today, you're a self-made millionaire. I was like, how does that feel to know that you're living that life? And he was like, I'll stop you there. There's no such thing as self-made. Nobody's self-made. It's about the right connections. It's about collaboration, not competition. It's about getting help. It's about support. It's about delegating. It's about building the right team. And that applies to every goal, not just financial goals. Are you getting enough help? Are you around the right people? It's absolutely huge. And it's a mistake I see so many people making. Anything you want to add, Helen?
Yeah, I think it's about getting the right help as well. Sometimes it's not good enough to just get help, because sometimes people are getting help and still not getting anywhere. And I think that is really important to point out that, hopefully there aren't too many unethical people out there that would just take your money.
Well, there is.
But there is.
But this is the caveat to add to what you're saying, Helen, is you might get the wrong help, but then have the self-awareness to learn from that.
Yeah.
What most people do is they try coaching or they try therapy and they go, oh, coaching's a scam, or therapy's shit. Or they try personal trainer. Oh, it were rubbish. You didn't know what you were talking about. There's loads that do. I just want to be mindful with what you're saying. What you're saying is absolutely spot on, Helen. But equally, what's important is people don't take that and go, oh, yeah, so I best never try. Fucking go and try. I've been scammed. Yeah. I've lost thousands of pounds. It's that thing again of fearing failure. The most successful people, generally, why are they so successful? Because they've failed more than everybody that's unsuccessful.
And it's trying different things until they hit on what does work, isn't it, as well? That's definitely been the case with me. It's trying different things and then hitting on what does work. But I think, in terms of, like you just said about PTs, people who have a PT, but that PT isn't, they've gone to them with a weight loss goal and they're not getting that goal. And either it's you not doing what they're telling you to do, or them not holding you accountable, or both.
Yeah. Or just not being a good match as well.
Yeah. And it's like, I just think sometimes you've got to reassess, haven't you? And you've got to go, is this working for me? And if not, then reassess.
Yeah. But I think like a really key point, guys, is to not quit on asking for help, not quit on trying things. And again, I've been guilty of it before. When I think of therapy as well, like I've had, I think now 4 different people that I've worked with. And I used to be like, oh, therapy's crap. Therapy don't work, because the first 2 just, we didn't align. Like they weren't the right people for me. But then recently I've had much better experiences. But if I'd have stopped after the first one, or even after the second one, I might be of the opinion, oh, therapy don't work. Therapy's a load of tosh. Therapy's useless. And same, I've had a bad coach. I've had a social media company that I paid $7.5 grand to that were useless, that didn't help me make any money or grow my business. I've worked with PTs, some better than others. Like, but the point is, don't just go, oh, you've got, asking for help don't work, therapy don't work, coaching's a scam, mentors are shit. Like, just because you have a bad experience, you cannot stop. Like, it still stands. There's no such thing as self-made. You need help. You need support. If you're truly serious about success, you're not going to get there on your own. So don't stop trying and exploring.
Exactly. Like exactly what you've just said with therapy. 18 years. I had therapy for OCD for this year. It actually worked. The same therapy that I have had several times before, different therapist.
Wow. But you didn't quit.
Didn't quit. Kept going back. But keep until you find what works. That's literally it, isn't it?
Massive. So yeah, really important. Getting help. And if the first help ain't right, ask someone else. If that ain't right, ask somebody else. And again, I can't think of the exact example, but I know there's, was it Rocky, the film Rocky? Like, there's so many examples of people who've been successful who've been rejected like hundreds of times or whatever it was. And it's like most people, J.K. Rowling, right? With the book, how many times she was, do you know that? How many times was she rejected?
I don't remember how many times, but it was a lot. It was a lot.
Yeah. And yet so many of us have one relationship that don't work, or one coach that don't work, or get one rejection and go, oh, it's not for me then. Yeah. Like, learn. There's that kind of well-known phrase, which is success leaves clues. Yeah. Success leaves clues. Look at those who've been successful. Listen to their stories. They got rejected hundreds of times. You know, what I'm saying there about therapy, many times it didn't work. What you're saying there, 18 years, like, but then it worked. People quit too soon. Yeah. So that's the fifth one, is you're not getting enough help. You're around the wrong people. You're not exposed to the right people enough. And I think just one extra thing that I was reflecting on is the lack of self-awareness. I always say self-development comes from self-awareness, and self-awareness comes from self-reflection, which is why we're speaking there about the journaling, about gratitude, about that kind of regular reflection. People are lacking awareness. People are chasing goals based on what other people have said worked for them, or what society suggests are the goals you should be chasing. Or I've started this business. Oh, it's hard. It's not working. But now this person says make money from doing this, so I'm going to do this. Oh, it's not working. But they're saying I should do this, so I'll do this. Self-awareness. What are your strengths? What are your passions? What are your talents? What are your abilities? What are you good at? What do you want to do? Stop following everybody else's blueprint. Get better at self-awareness. I mean with this with respect, but I've had people saying, I think I want to be a life coach. Where's your self-awareness? Your own life is not desirable yet. Mm-hmm. How can you coach people on their life at the stage you're at? I've had people saying, I want to be a successful actor. And then I look at their stuff and I'm like, you're nowhere near a good enough actor yet. Get better. Or maybe have the self-awareness go, maybe that dream you've been sold is not for you. And that's okay. There's a load of other stuff to explore. People get stuck in, well, this is all I know, or this is all I've seen, or this is what people are telling me. And they lack, I call it a muscle. The self-awareness muscle is weak. Yeah. Strengthen your self-awareness muscle. Do the inner work. Get away from the hustle, bustle, and noise of everyone else and sit in silence. Ask better questions in order to get better answers. So just a little bit of an extra mistake people, I think, I know and I see are making, following the wrong blueprint for success, because they are not building the self-awareness muscle, and they're chasing other people's goals or what other people have done well. Yeah, I might be great at this and I might be doing well. Doesn't mean you are. It doesn't mean if you work with me as a coach and just copy what I've done, it's going to work for you, because I have talents and strengths and abilities that you don't have. And some of them you'll never have. Talent's a real thing. Like, I can take all the singing lessons in the world. I'm never, ever, 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 ever going to be Mariah Carey, ever. Because she's got something that I haven't got and I never will have. So self-awareness in this world of social media, selling 6-pack in 6 weeks and 6 figures in 12 months, nonsense. A small percent of people that might happen for doesn't now mean everybody can. Anything you want to add to that, Ellen?
Yeah, I think it's just about like you said, it's not listening to self-doubt, and it's not going, oh, well, I could never be that and I could never, but it's having that awareness to realize that if you have a goal and a dream, is it actually possible? Is it actually realistic in the real world? Not about saying, well, I could never build a multi-million pound company. Well, if you have the skills to do it, yes, you could actually, you know, if you're
And one of the biggest
to
skills being building the ability to spot the right talent to do the jobs that will build it for you.
Exactly. But if you're saying, I want to be
basketball player and you're 4 foot.
Exactly. Or I want to be Mariah Carey and you can't sing.
And you're tone deaf.
There'll be a level of where a singing coach could get you to. Would it get you to that level? Probably.
No. I'm aware of that. But that's not a negative thing. Find your strengths and lean into them and stop leaning into your weaknesses because someone's told you this is what you need to do. You need to really build on social media. Yeah, but you've got no personality, mate. And you're terrible with technology and you don't want to do social media. Maybe that's not the best. Maybe you're a writer and you should be doing blogs.
Yeah.
You know, so I just think we've got to be so careful with so much nonsense online that people buy into and then they think they're a failure because it doesn't work. No, it's just not your thing.
Yeah. You see it an awful lot on social media where people will try and copy somebody that's done well. And it's like, but you're not them. And as much as you can do exactly what they're doing, you know, like Mrs. Hinch springs to mind cleaning a house and everybody opened a cleaning account and started doing it. And it's like, but you're not her. And people buy into her. Do you know what I mean? It's not what she's doing. It's who she is. It's the relatability. So it's not authentic and therefore it doesn't work.
Authentic. And it comes back to what we were saying earlier about authenticity. It's like my friend Shabazz, massive on TikTok and Instagram, does funny little videos. My other friend Danny, who does Rate My Takeaway on YouTube, nearly 1 million subscribers on YouTube. It's who they are. Yeah. They're being them. And people relate to that and find it funny because it's so clearly who they are and not an act. And also they had a bit of luck and timing and all these things. So you now try and be Shabazz when you're nothing like Shabazz at a different time and not with that luck. You're wasting your time. So self-awareness, guys, is so critical. Like it's so vital to success. And that's not about lowering expectations. It's not about not having big dreams and big goals. It's about really having the awareness of what is right for you. And what I see is generally, this is one of the biggest things people are shit at. And people have been coached by me and do get coaching sessions with me. And they're like, I just want to do what you're doing, Matt. And I'm like, all right, are you happy to not be here for about 12 years? Because that you're about 12 years off. Well, no, but I want to do it in 6 months and I'm paying you. Yeah, but I'm fucking really good. And I'm at a place where I'm really happy being my authentic self and being judged. You're shit scared of what your mates think about you on Facebook. You're shit scared about what user 865 said on TikTok. It don't bother me. I've been called everything under the sun, especially doing live, what was it called? Love Triangle. Like when that was getting the big views on E4 and on TikTok and whatever, social media, I got called some right names. And I was like, this is really interesting. Not zero bothered, like zero. But you would be if we put you on there, you know? And it's just like people, it's that overnight success syndrome. People see where I am today. They don't realize I started going to acting classes and performance classes when I was 8 years old. I've been working on self-confidence. I've been working on communicating to an audience since I was 8 years old, pretty much every single week since I was 8. So being coached by me on a 4-week package for 450 quid, you're not going to be where I am, right? Self-awareness doesn't mean I can't give you a hell of a lot of value. Doesn't mean that I can't help fast track your success. Doesn't mean that I can't help you find what your strengths are and help you get there and then lean into and double down on your strengths. Doesn't mean I can't support you, encourage you, hold you accountable, push you, help you come up with ideas. There's a fucking lot of value to be had. But don't expect to do what I've been, where I'm at today in a few weeks or a few months if you are nowhere near where I am. And that's just not me being big-headed. That's about anyone. Be self-aware, be realistic, have big goals, have dreams, have ambitions, get help, get support, but lean into who you are. Stop trying to be somebody you're not.
Yeah, definitely.
Anything else for you, Helen?
No, I just think the authenticity thing 100%. And I think when you do that, that's when you find success. That's when you flourish. It's when you stop trying to fit into somebody else's box and just be happy to create your own. That's when you find the success.
100%. And I'll also say I didn't do that. Like, I have had times where I didn't do that, where I did think I had to be somebody I'm not. And I did take poor guidance, and it can work in the short term to a certain level, but it's never going to be the long sustainable success ever. The sooner you can start to really lean into who you are, be authentic, have the self-awareness to know your strengths, double down on your strengths, follow what you're passionate about, give value to others, the sooner things just totally change. Let us know, how has this been for you? Some harsh truths, perhaps, but much needed, I'm sure, for many of you. Again, we've gone into a lot of depth over this last hour, but just to do a really quick recap, the 5 mistakes I see people making time and time again. Number 1, they value certainty far too much. Number 2, they fear judgment and want to impress others far too much. Number 3 is they're too busy focusing on the negatives and what they don't have and not on the positives and what they do have. Remember, the story you're telling yourself is the glue that keeps you stuck. Number 4, not taking enough of the smaller, consistent actions and recognizing the power of the compound effect. Instead, it's all in versus all out. Number 5, they're not getting enough help and not getting enough support, not around the right people regular enough, not exposed to the right kind of attitude and mentality on a regular basis. And then obviously we just said like a little bit of a Brucey bonus, like self-awareness, such an important muscle to strengthen, to get better at. And I also said at the beginning, for those just joining about, just raise your standards in general. Like what's the standards you expect of yourself? Like I'm just seeing so often people with lackluster energy, a miserable kind of negative attitude, bad with timekeeping, expecting something for nothing and all this kind of stuff. Be better, have higher standards. And not only will other people trust you and respect you more, but you'll trust and respect yourself more. And I think that's a really, really important one. Couple of minutes before we have to go, because I've got my next coaching session in just over 25 minutes. Anybody got any questions for us just before we leave? Please do ask. See, Helen Short has said there on Instagram, a great refresher. Thanks, guys. Absolute pleasure, Helen. And thank you so much for engaging and being part of this week and the lives that we've done. Carol is on her piece of cake account and says, thank you so much, Matt and Helen. Our absolute pleasure. Carol, I really hope this has been useful and there's something in this that you can take away that's going to help you, importantly. Anything else? Anyone got any questions, any comments over on Facebook, Helen?
Yeah, so Mark's just put a really powerful one in, actually. He said that my drag show is successful because it's unique and I've never seen an act do it like me. I'm not better, I'm just authentic. And, you know, that's actually when you think about business and you think about unique selling points and then you think what you've just been saying about self-awareness, that is actually the point that we were trying to make. It's not about trying to emulate something else. It's about you having your own unique selling points, being very aware of them and then taking them forward. And that's exactly what Mark's done to massive success.
And that's great self-awareness that he recognizes that he's, I love that. I'm not better. Yeah. I love that. I'm not better. I'm just unique. I'm just myself. Yeah. Mark, absolute, it was great self-awareness and a great message for people. Stop trying to be better than everyone else. Be more you, be more yourself. Anything else there, Helen?
Yeah, so he said some of his more successful times have come from collaboration. If you don't like taking help, it's ideal because you're helping each other. And that's another really, really good point as well.
Brilliant, Mark. I mean,
he's again, on fire today.
Yeah, but I was just going to say, it just shows this is a man who's been really committed to working on himself and consistently working on himself, consistently looking where his blind spots are, where his weak areas are, and how to become stronger and more, emotionally intelligent and emotionally aware. And obviously, Mark, I think Mark's probably been with us, is it 2 years or so now? We've roughly, I would guess, Mark. You don't know if you know. I imagine you do. Mark's been with us a long time, but not just with us. He's actually been engaging and showing up with us for that time. He very rarely misses our Zoom sessions, our coaching sessions, unless he's literally on stage. He's always checking in the WhatsApp group, stating his intentions, self-reflecting in there. And then Mark comes out with things like that. And it's the same with you, Helen. You've been with us 5 years and you just have all the stuff now that you just say so easily because you're living and breathing it. And it's not just textbook. It's not just something you read in a self-help book, sorry. It's actually something you've applied and you've got experience with it, right?
It's learned experience and lived experience, isn't it? So it's like once you put it into practice, you understand it on a whole different level, I think.
100%.
Mark,
Anything else?
Yeah, he's got a question for you. So he said he finds it very difficult to reflect any kind of public opinion. So he's hiding parts of himself on social media. He's not afraid to be vulnerable, but very much to be controversial.
The answer to that lies in the answer to the question of, do you need to be? Do you want to be? Do you feel it's important? Does it add value being controversial? There's no right or wrong. There's just, what do you want? I think generally the more authentic you can be, the more you're going to find your tribe. But finding your tribe often means really finding who's not your tribe. So it does generally, when you're completely yourself, warts and all, it does generally divide people. It does generally have people who are going to be like, I really don't agree with you. But it's also going to have people who are like, I really do agree with you. So, it's about going, what's my goal here? What's my target? What's my demographic? What am I trying to build? Why am I trying to build it? What feels aligned? What feels right? They're the things that you need to answer, not just, should I show more of myself and potentially be controversial? The answer is, it depends. Like maybe not. What are you wanting to do? Why are you wanting to do it is important. So Mark, hopefully that makes sense. In fact, I've just been editing. I'll give a shout out. We've got Darren Cartel. His podcast is being released next week. Really, really excited about that. And he said in that, because I've just been watching some of it back with the edit, he said there's a lot of rooms where he's bit his tongue. Where he's not bit his tongue. He's not played the popularity game. And he has stood for what he stands for. And as a result, he says, I know I'm nowhere near as famous as I could be. Yeah. And he's like, I don't know how I feel about that, but it is the truth. He knows there's been people whose asses he could have licked, things he could have said less and held back on. And he's like, I know I would be more successful. I'd probably be doing more mainstream TV, etc., etc. So that's not saying what's right or wrong. It's just that's the decision he made. There's an upside to it, and there's equally a consequence. What do you want? Do you want to go bigger? Do you want to do more mainstream? Or do you want to be more authentic? And there's no right or wrong with that, because you are being authentic, but it's also okay that there's certain things you want to keep private too, So it's not a case of being inauthentic by not being even more authentic by showing everything, if that makes sense. It's just about being clear. Again, self-awareness. Anything you want to add, Helen?
Yeah, with that self-awareness thing as well, it's funny how you've just brought Darren Cartel's name up, because I actually remember being on that Zoom, and when we did the Q&A, I asked him, I said to him, how do you do that? How can you be like that you can just go into a room and not care? And don't care if you disrupt and be controversial and stuff, and how can I be more like that? And basically what he said to me was, you probably can't. He literally, if it's not you, it's not you. You know what I mean? If you're not there, you're not there. Have the self-awareness. If you couldn't walk into a room and do that, don't. And I was like, that's pretty good advice, actually.
Because it's him. Because I love that. Because he's saying it's who I am. I do say what I think. I am happy to be controversial. I am happy to be hated. Bit pissed off my career would be a bit bigger. But that's the price I pay for being me, And yeah.
Really honest answer, but really, really good, and plays back to that self-awareness thing of, if it's not you, it's not you.
Interesting. Yeah, so guys, that's going to be coming out this coming Wednesday. It's great. I've just been watching some through the edit before we did this live, and I was just like, it's a little bit like Paul, who we had on this week. Just like every sentence is like, bang, that can go in the trailer. Because there's just like so many powerful
Brilliant.
sentences that are so thought-provoking and important as well.
Yeah.
So that'll be out on Wednesday. Just let everyone know as well. If you want to join us at Success School at the membership, that is what Helen and I are all about. As I say, it's completely free to join us in the membership. You get live coaching every single week, you get Zoom calls. There's over 100 hours worth of content in the members only area. There's bonus interviews and live Q&As with various guest expert speakers. And there's also an accountability WhatsApp group and an incredible community who are all there in a private Facebook group as well. Anything you want to say about the membership, Helen? Because obviously Helen's journey, for those who don't know, Helen's been in the membership as a client or a member, should I say, for about around 5 years. And now obviously you're working with us as the community manager. What would you say to people that are wondering, is it for me? Should I join? Do I want to join? Anything you'd share?
I think it's the perfect place to start if you're looking at going down this path, but you're like not entirely sure, you don't really know what it's all about and stuff like that, because it's making a commitment and it's making that investment in yourself, and it's making the decision to start without it being too full on, because everything's there in the membership area. You can work through it at your own pace. It's all done. You've got an amazing community of support around you as well, in the WhatsApp group, in the Facebook group. You've got the live calls every week. And so you can kind of just take the journey at your own pace rather than committing to like, right, I'm going to completely change everything all at once. And it's like really overwhelming. It's a really good place to start. And then Matt also has like one-to-one where you can work with him for a month and you can go far deeper. You can really commit to it more. But to build up that basic knowledge that then puts you on a level where you can start applying this stuff to your life, I just think it's perfect, because you start being around people that are living, breathing this stuff. That's where it all changes.
100%. I can see there as well. Helen Short has said, so how do you get thicker skin? There's a couple of pieces to this. I think one of it is what you focus on. If you focus on the negative comments and you allow it to bother you, then it's not going to help. There is that thing of just don't look and don't expose yourself to it. There's a part of that that's useful. You know, what you focus on creates your feelings. So if you focus on negativity, you're going to feel negative, generally speaking. But the other part of it, I would say, is actually more exposure to the things where you are going to get criticism is how you grow a thicker skin, because it gives you perspective. I think a really good example of this for me was doing the reality TV show. And even though generally I got a load of love and a lot of really lovely comments and people saying you're a gentleman, and you know, we like a lot of people do just say, oh, sorry you were treated that way, you deserve better. I do get a lot of that. But also on some of those E4 viral clips, generally there was a lot of people that would see that haven't watched the whole show, so they'd see a clip out of context. There's some really, really horrible things said about me on that. And it was only by being at that level that I was able to go, oh, I'm actually really comfortable with this. It really doesn't bother me. There's a perspective here of, well, when you're going out to millions of people, you are going to have a percent that don't like you. So I'm actually, it's evidence that I'm doing something substantial. I'm not playing small. I'm going out to a bigger audience. So there's something in that, Helen, I would say, which is about you grow a thicker skin by, and some, you know, incrementally. I'm not saying like if you haven't even done a live video, I'm not saying go on a national TV show and do 10 episodes like I did. Like you might want to build yourself up in stages, but it's consistently putting yourself out there, taking a level of action to be judged. Because what you will find is when you are being authentic and clear and strong in your views and what you have to offer, it does divide people. So you get the hate, but equally you get stronger love. Like, I really agree with that. That really helped me today. Whilst you've also got real criticism going, who are you? You don't know what you're on about. But that kind of juxtaposition or that contrast on one end where you're getting the real love, you go, it gives you that perspective of going, I can never please everybody, but Jesus, these are really getting something out of it. So fuck you. And it's like, that's the thing that grows the thicker skin, not wanting to have a thicker skin or needing it, just getting the judgment, but also getting the positives simultaneously, I guess. So hopefully that makes sense, Helen. Obviously, if you have any quick follow-ups, let us know. Anything else from your end, Helen?
No, I just think with what Helen just said then, I think as well, it's just about getting to that place where like the people whose opinions you care about matter and everybody else doesn't. You do have to get to that place where it's like, do you know what, if you like me, great. If you don't like me, great. The people that matter to me As long as I'm not doing anything to upset them, I'm not bothered. Like,
Great. Yeah.
I don't care.
Yeah.
Because
Absolutely.
like you've just said, it's about the bigger cause, isn't it? Whatever you're doing, wherever you're putting yourself out there, if that really matters to you and it really matters, then it's bigger. So it's bigger than some idiot on the internet with a keyboard.
And Helen Short has just added something of a similar kind of thing there, where she said, I just always tell myself I'm coming from a good place. I think that's a massive thing, is if you know, it's that thing what we spoke about in yesterday's live video, internal versus external validation. If you know deep down your intentions are pure and good, focus on that. You don't need everybody to agree with it. You just need to keep going. And that over time, focus on that can really, really help. Ladies and gents, thank you for joining us. How have you found this live? Has it been useful? Give us some feedback. Let us know. Really appreciate those that have engaged and asked questions, and appreciate all of you for watching today. As always, in particular, if you're on Facebook, if you could do us a favor, please do share this video. As you'll be used to me saying by now, you know, our mission here is to help many people, or as many people as possible, live happier, healthier, and more fulfilling lives. It's a big mission. We want to help as many people as possible. So anything you can do to help us is greatly appreciated. If you could share the video, if you could go on further, add a little comment saying why you think people should maybe give it a little watch, that will help us help other people start to help themselves. And in doing so, there's this ripple effect that we're creating of good in the world. And that's just a nice thing to be a part of. So anyone that can help us get our message out there, we really, really do appreciate you. Also, just a reminder, do please come and join us if you want to start a free trial with us in the membership. Again, it's free for a few weeks, but then it's only £4.75 a week if you want to stay with us. Cancel anytime, including while you're doing the free trial. If you don't see the value in it, that's absolutely fine. If you want to join us, just click the link in my bio if you are on Instagram, and you can see on there, you can set up an account in literally 60 to 90 seconds. It will not take you long. You know, it will, just to be clear, it will ask for payment details. All that means is you're setting up a proper account, but no payment will be taken today. It is just to start you properly, completely free. You can join us and get part of, go through all the content, be on the live calls, be in the WhatsApp group. You get full access to everything free of charge for a couple of weeks. And then after, if you still want to stay, it will then start to be less than £20 a month. So you get 6 weeks with us for less than 20 quid, basically. It is cheap as chips. It is ridiculously cheap. I use the word affordable, but it's not. It's just freaking cheap based on what I know, who we've got in there, you know, who the speakers are, all the content, and also what I've paid to do stuff not as valuable. It's just bloody cheap, guys. And you just got to ask yourself the question, if you're not a member and you are serious about genuinely changing your life, and you do watch some of these videos and you do find them valuable, you do resonate with some of what we said, why are you not biting our hands off and taking the opportunity? So do come and join us. Give it a try. Would love to welcome you into the membership. Anything you want to say to finish, Helen?
Just a reminder to you to just tell everyone what you said at the start about the announcements that you made, because I think some people only joined later and will have missed it and won't know. So
I've got no idea. What did I say?
A certain thing that's coming back that you said was never coming back, but it's coming back different.
Yes, I have not got it available just yet, but we will be doing a 4-day challenge, Life Enhancer Challenge. If anyone has done my 3 or 5 day challenges we've done before, I did one in January and I was kind of like, this is the last time we're doing it like this. And I wasn't lying. We are mixing it up. It's going to be different. It's the next one is going to be September. So obviously, I get that it's summer now. A lot of people are on holiday. A lot of people are out of their routine. And then in September, you feel like you've got this massive mountain to climb. You've lost motivation. You've lost momentum. And generally, that's where people need a kick up the ass and they need a boost. So in September, I will be announcing the date soon. There will be a link to put your email address in to make sure that you get all the emails and information and details coming soon. So just keep a lookout for that. If you want to join us for the completely free 4-day Life Enhancer Challenge, we'll be doing that. And also, Dimple and I, relationship expert Dimple Thakra, are going to be releasing something I am incredibly excited about, incredibly proud of. And I think it's going to help a lot of people. So get ready for that. I can't announce it yet because it's something we're announcing together, but do check it out. But as always, we're going to go. I just want to say thank you so much, Everybody, absolute legends for being here. I hope you found this useful. Just a quick reminder, our podcast Success School, which is completely free, available on YouTube, Spotify and Apple. A new episode comes out every single Wednesday. This coming Wednesday, we've got Duran Cartel. It's going to be a great episode. But just a reminder as well, this week's episode is so powerful. Like, it's one of them you can watch about 10 times. There's so much in it. It's with the incredible Paul Moore. I know a lot of you will have seen the trailer and so on, but I'm just going to finish again today like we did yesterday. I'm going to play that trailer just to give you that reminder. If it looks like something that you think will be, a good watch, something that's going to motivate you and all the rest of it, do make sure you go and check it out. Type in Success School Matt Hall on either YouTube, Spotify, or Apple Podcasts to either listen or watch the episode. I'll play the trailer now, but thank you again, everybody, for being here. Hope you found this useful. And remember, as always, with the stuff that we talk about, it's only valuable if you do something with it. It's not enough to just listen. Listening, reading, adding books to your shelf is shelf development, not self-development. So you know what you need to do. Get out there and get to work. Thanks for being here. We'll see you next time. Lots of love.
See ya.
Bye, and we'll see you soon. Take care. The day you went to kill yourself.
Holy shit, man. She said she almost let me kill myself because she hated seeing me in pain so much. You just need to talk to someone, in my opinion, is not that accurate. People aren't depressed because they don't talk. People aren't suicidal because they don't talk. I was talking about it all the time. I told my wife I was going to do it. To avoid discomfort, you end up uncomfortable anyway. You can seek out discomfort and challenge that inspires you. Goals, targets, missions, scary. Or you will attract, by f***ing default, discomfort that drains you. So many of us tell our kids they can be anything they want while being in a job that they hate. Blame self-doubt, they blame confidence, but what the reality is, they're addicted to certainty, predictability, the known rather than the unknown. That's why people stay in jobs that they hate. Because it's familiar, at least they know it.
And relationships.
Exactly, relationships are even worse because it's known. At least they know how miserable they are.
We know we hate each other.
Set that goal when I was 21 of £1 million. I thought it would feel very different to this, and it didn't. It was like I'd climbed up a ladder, sacrificed friendships, the relationship with my parents, sacrificed my physical health because I was also 5 stone overweight, sacrificed my mental health, almost sacrificed my marriage. And then when I got to the top of the ladder, I realised it was against the wrong building.
God, he's gone there.
I did just say that. No, I didn't. Yeah, let's delete that bit.